In all honesty, I'm really glad that I never stopped doing what I've been doing outside of wrestling content. I kind of hate to say this because I get, family members that are into wrestling and they think it's the best fucking thing in the fucking world. But the passion's not there anymore. It's just not there. And for a couple of reasons. One is if nobody else cares about it, that, and you have an idea of your own, eventually, why would you care? Eventually, you stop caring. That's one reason, but it didn't really stop there with me. I guess I kind of started enjoying other things more. I'll get to that in a second. I want to start with, I saw my boy Millennial Smart came back, and a couple of minutes into his video, he says, wrestling is a thing to fall back on when you got nothing else. Like when there's nothing else there for you, wrestling's there, and that's exactly kind of how I feel about it. Like, yeah, it's cheesy as fuck and something you enjoy when you're like 15, if you're me. But once you reach the age of reason, you start to not really enjoy it anymore, and it's cheesy as hell. Yeah, if I got nothing else, there's nothing else that I like or anything else at all. I'm bored with everything, including even fucking porn. Yeah, hey, wrestling's there. That's exactly how I feel. I know that's negative, but that's really how I feel. I'm like, yeah, it's at least it's there. It's cheesy and not really all that great. Unless you like really cheesy shit with bad acting and bad scripts. Yeah, it's there. It's there for you to see. Hey, at least that's something to fall back on. It's there. It's awesome. Whatever. Not really, but hey, it's there. There it is. Hey, nothing else you care about? Well, here goes some half-ass entertainment for you. It's not even as good as what it used to be, but even though it was always cheesy, but hey. I mean, especially now, at least back then when it was PG in the 80s, it was, at least the wrestlers could act. At least they had guys that could talk on a mic. It was interesting at least, to a degree. Like, it was enough to where you wanted to see it. Now it's so watered down. And it's not like I'm 32 now. So I'm not going to enjoy it like I did when I was like 15 years old. And even at a young age, when I was still in my teens, I was starting to learn that marketing aspect of it. So I was smarter than the average fan. So then you got that. Like now, with the WWE Network having that, having all this access to every and any and everything, wrestling related. I mean, I thought I would just be all over that shit. I watched some old stuff, maybe a couple things, and bored. Bad acting, bad wrestling, at least back then. It didn't really draw me in, wasn't really entertained. This shit was just putting me to sleep. Even I'm talking about like stuff from 10 years ago or whatever. Just putting me to sleep, not all that interesting. It's exactly what I expected. It was just, you know, all these fucking shit gimmicks and even watching Jericho stuff. I wasn't interested. It was still cheesy. That's the problem. It feels too cheesy for me. So it was putting me to sleep. I was getting bored. I'm like, you know what? Let me go watch some porn. Let me go jerk off or something. Let me go jack off or something. You know, like honestly, this is really how I feel. I still got my project. Maybe I'll go back to it eventually. I'll go back to wrestling and I'll try to make this shit work. Because I'll always have my stuff that I worked on. So, you know, eventually I might go back. But at this point, I've just not. I haven't even been watching Raw and SmackDown lately. I ain't even been paying attention. I don't care. You know, this shit never even happened to me at this point. You know, I heard about Nia Jax entering. What's the Mandy Rose, whatever. Randy Orton won the title. It's just, and that's only because I'm still sub to a wrestling channel, and I just saw the thumbnails, and whatever. I ain't really been watching this shit. Maybe I'm just too old for it. But hey, you know, like why couldn't like that's why I wish stuff like ECW was still around, because at least, I mean, at least it wasn't cheesy. It's just the cheese. Some people love the cheese. I just don't like it. I never was really into a lot of cheesy shit. Is, is this too cheesy for me? Is this, you know, when I was younger, okay, but the more access I had to it, the more I seen it, the more cheesier it felt to me. I'm like, oh, I can't. I'm too old for this shit. Especially now, it's for kids. It's for fucking toddlers. If I have children, I'll let my children watch this shit. You know, that's how I feel about it, honestly. Like, why can't it just be an adult version? Like a rated R version or something. It doesn't have to be all about sex, but it just needs to be just wrestling without cheese. Like this, just give me a regular fucking hamburger, no cheese on that bitch. You know what I mean? Like no cheese. Real life ass storylines and shit. You know, like just have real looking violence, drugs and shit. Like just make it to something that I can relate to. Not this cheesy guys in their underwear and shit. I don't want to see that. I mean, that's not interesting for a mature guy in his 30s like myself. It's just not. I tried. I mean, I tried. I just don't. I don't have the patience for it anymore. I can't do it. Not right now, at least. I can't do it. Maybe eventually I'll come back to it. I'm still getting the games. I still got a lot of the games now. Didn't even play. I didn't even open up the case or nothing. They just sit up there in my room and shit. You know. But hey, that's life. Sometimes, you know, not old habits die hard, I guess. Hey, you know.